Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and Commander. This is the situation report, the SITREP. The frontline changes report has already been published. The situation report that I will be going through is as per the timing of the frontline changes report, because I have not done any mapping since the frontline changes report has went out. So this is still accurate because we are talking about the situation report from the day before, because the current day is still ongoing. So we're going to do the frontline changes at the Kharkiv front first, and just overview. The Russians have activated a number of fronts, and a lot of things is happening, especially in the Avdiivka and the Donetsk front. So over at the Kharkiv front, the Ukrainian forces is on the counter, but somehow the Russians have not let up in their pressure on the Ukrainian side. Russian forces allegedly was shelling Kharkivka region. I think Zovneve. I have to zoom out, and they attacked this area called Vysoka Yaruha. Sounds very Japanese. And Russian forces are putting pressure, continuing on Lipsy. Ukrainian forces continue their counteroffensive over at Voschansk. So this is the strategic picture currently over at the Kharkiv front. There is some geolocations in this sector around this is the Kozacha Lopan sector. This is Kozacha Lopan around here, and there is some geolocation just near the border region. This is at the Veterinarny. There is Russian shelling in this location, as well as the nearby down the tree line. So Russian forces shelled this Zovneve region. This, if I didn't remember wrongly, in the early days, the first year of war, this area has been used as a Ukrainian stronghold. I can't remember, maybe. So the over at the Vysoka Yaruha, Russian forces seems to have launched some kind of attack. It could be just fire attack, and the fighting at Lipsy continue in most likely in the northern part of Lipsy. Geolocation and Nekushne, which is some shelling, and that's about it in this front line. And over at the Zaporizhzhia sector, some major changes. A number of shelling geolocated, particularly these two in the so-called rear position, near Ibitske and Zaporizhzhia, seems to have invalidated the Russian claims that they have this much ground. So with these two locations, at least we now cut into half. Because ultimately we still have fighting reported at Ibitske previously, so there could still be Russian forces and positions around here, although it's starting to look more and more unlikely because there is no more fighting at Ibitske for a long time. The last fight was reported on the 13th of May, and so you are coming to 1 month, so there could be a case where the Russian forces attack in this direction and they realize that they need more help in Zaporizhzhia and Avdiivka, so they have withdrawn out from this area here. That's a possibility, because nearby we also have fighting reported at Ternova on the 26th of May. So we're not sure what is the exact story around here. Could they be the attack here? Then the commands forgotten about them, so they wander off, and then they contacted Ukrainian forces over at Ternova, and then it was like, oh shit, and then they left, and then it was reported that they fought at Ternova. And now who knows? It could be the possibility, And then there is nothing over at the Zaporizhzhia and Avdiivka region. There is some geolocation at Kravske, and in the forest region. These are all artillery shelling in the same report. It's just a random everywhere. So these 5 locations are getting shelled by the Russian forces. Over the Voschansk region, Ukrainian and Russian sources. So Ukrainian defense ministry said that the Russians are attacking. Russian source say that the Ukrainians continue to attack. There is a Lancet strike geolocated across the southern part of the river. So the current situation remains similar. There is no change in terms of the tactical situation around here. The Ukrainians have put up some pontoon crossing. It's unknown where the crossings are. So this one is unclear. It could be near the roads, because pontoon crossings, if you if you realize from geolocations and videos, if you have been monitoring this war, you would have seen that many of these pontoon crossing will be just next to the broken bridge. The main reason is because the convoy will go down the same road, and then they will actually cross the river. But not on the original bridge because it was destroyed. They will just cross across at the pontoon bridge because no, the roads are still easier to drive. So it could be the case where the pontoon crossings are actually developed, or set up just near the existing bridges. That could be a very high possibility. But we have no confirmation tentatively about all these bridges. So that is what it is. There's one effect for this is this one, this geolocation. The Lancet hit this pontoon or bridge laying machine, basically around here. So it is pretty smart that the Ukrainian forces is laying the bridge here, because this is a bit here. The region here is colder. The main fighting has been around here. This is the main area that the heavy fighting is being reported. So by laying the bridge over here, that could also mean that the Russian forces around here does not exist. It's actually under Ukrainian control. I've seen some online on Twitter claim that this area here has been captured by the Ukrainian forces. I did not see any of this information on my trusted sources. So I'll definitely look out for that. But the Ukrainian forces are trying to cross over on this side so that they can actually travel to the main battlegrounds or actually break out from the rear. However, this area here is very difficult because the Russians have the high ground. As we all learned from Star Wars, if the enemy have the high ground, don't jump. So anyway, that's the situation over at the Volchansk region. We move on. So that's all. There is shelling reported at Svatove. We haven't heard of this name since like more than a year. So it's like meeting an old friend. It's been a long time since we have met him. This geolocation south of Ruska Lozova, another old friend that we have not seen for a long time. This is a tank getting hit by a Lancet. As I mentioned before, the Lancets are starting to hunt further and further away from the front line because of it's starting to not become a target rich area. It's becoming a target rare area. So this is why the Lancet seems to be flying further and further away. We move into the Kupyansk front. This entire front line is the Oskil fronts, and this is the Kupyansk, Svatove, and Kreminna. So at the Kupyansk front, we have reports of Russian attacking at Sinkivka, Petropolivka. Now this one is Stepova, Novoselivka, and Berestove. So the Russians have reactivated the Kupyansk front after we have a bit of quietness, relatively quietness from this area. So now this have started again. And then there is some geolocation. There's an airstrike on Kupyansk. So that's about it from this area here. And I try not to go into talking about who say this source, that source, because I wanted to do the Ukraine briefing series, so I want to keep the SITREP as not tiring as possible for myself. So the Crimean cavalry geolocated the Russian forces along this tree line, confirming that. Give me a second. Oops. Abort. Oh, okay. So my arrow tool has crashed. So yeah. So I can't even pause my recording. So you're gonna hear me. Oh, holy shit. Okay, wait. Okay. Horrible shit, man. Wait. How do I pause this? Oh, I could. Let me try again. Okay, back. Yeah. Shit happens. So Russian forces geolocated along the tree line that we have already marked the front line change previously. So this is just a corroboration of the situation over at this Petropolivka region or south of Vreshana. So we move into the Svatove front. At the Svatove front, we have fighting reported at Stemakivka as well as Novoyehorivka. There is some front there's a shelling over at Bohuslavska. Bohuslavka. This is according to the Russian Defense Ministry. There's a front line change just off Novosibirsk, suggesting that the Russians are bypassing any Ukrainian forces trying to hold this Chemato here, and the Russians are heading towards the river around here. If you cannot see the river, which is usually the case because the river is very shallow, you can see that there's a small little lake here, and then there's a very tiny stream moving down here. This is, I believe, the Zaporizhzhia river as well, and so they are heading in that direction. There is geolocation of helicopter strike on Siversk-Bakhmut. So, and then further south over at the Avdiivka region, there's a thermobaric strike on the Ukrainian position at Avdiivka. So this strike around here does invalidate some of these Russian claims that they have captured Avdiivka. So the Ukrainians have at least taken this position around here. I know some of you guys don't like this mapping, but actually I'm perfectly fine with that. So this is the situation around here. And that's all from the Svatove front, I guess. The Novoyehodivka I already said. So we move into the Kreminna front. At the Kreminna front, this side suddenly went quiet. You know, as you previously remembered that Kreminna front have kind of activated around a few days ago. Suddenly, you know, it now went quiet again. As the last attack was on the 31st, so it was around a week ago. So now it went very quiet, and now the Russians are reportedly attacking from Avdiivka and Kreminna. This is according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They didn't mention where the attack is. They only say that the attack comes from Avdiivka and Kreminna. I'm supposing that they are heading towards a Novosibirsk, because it don't make sense for us from Avdiivka moving south to Dibrova or something. So it's just a very weird report from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Very weird. Over at the Siversk front, as I mentioned, the Russian forces are now playing this whack-a-mole, you know, with the Ukrainians. So the mole has left Siversk. The Russian forces yesterday was just attacking Rozdolivka. Wrong icon. 3rd of June, you can see they're just attacking here, just attacking Vimka, and suddenly there's no more attacks being reported. Very, very peculiar. And then Siversk actually got airstrike. So this whack-a-mole, this mole actually crawl over to the other fronts, and you'll see later they will be at Donetsk Front and Avdiivka Front. And so over at the Bakhmut Front, Russian forces are attacking at Kreminna, towards Chasivya, Klishchevka, and Avdiivka. We still have no confirmation of any capture of Klishchevka and Avdiivka. So very disappointing with the Russian Defense Ministry. You know, sometimes you really want to trust them, but sometimes their reports, their claims of capture is just stinky. I mean, this village is called Stinky, and so over at Kreminna, there is this very painful chop of this this thing here. So it got chopped off due to this geolocation of Russian artillery striking Ukrainian positions. Previously, the Russians are geolocated here. So they were geolocated here. So it's very, very weird that the Ukrainians are back again. So maybe the Ukrainian story that the Russian crews are lost, they lost their way, makes sense. That they lost their way down this one road. Like, yeah, but whatever it is what it is. So otherwise, there's nothing much to talk about anymore on Bakhmut front. We move into the New York front, and the New York front, there is a geolocation of Russian airstrikes south of New York, and then Russian forces attacking Oleksandropil. For those that are wondering, this Oleksandropil is also known as Rozivka. So there's a number of Rozivka around here. So this is the one. Over in the northern flank of the Avdiivka front, Russian forces attacking out of Ocheretine. This is one of the activated fronts, by the way. The Russians are now piling on the Ukrainians in the Avdiivka front. After the Kharkiv front went into a defensive operation, Russian forces are attacking at Novo-Oleksandrivka. They are attacking towards Yekhanivka, Oskil, Umansky. So these are various, as well as, of course, in the area of Oleksandropil. So this is the current situation. Geolocation of some counter-artillery action. Yeah, these are all counter-artillery actions on the Ukrainian artillery. And so particularly over at the Novo-Oleksandrivka region, Russian forces have expanded their foothold around Novo-Alexandrivka, and they have hit north. As per I mentioned before, this is the direction to go. This is the way to go. And as I mentioned also before, this kind of big arrow move will take a long time to develop. And the last, when I mentioned that was a long time ago. So Russian forces are also expanding south of Novo-Alexandrivka. So I did the report, the analysis here. What's next after Ocheretine? And this video has been a long time ago. So is 1 month ago. So I already mentioned that the Russian forces will hit. So the New York front. So you can see Ocheretine is over here. I'm expecting them to hit through these unentrenched grounds towards Konstantinivka. And in this area here, they can hit into the rear positions, cut the road to the New York front, and then cause this entire salient, entire defensive position here to entirely collapse. So if you go back to the map, that is basically, that's basically here. The Russian forces are now pushing in this direction, which is where I already said that they would attack. They would attack, or at least I think they should attack through this entirely unentrenched ground, cut the road, and then the entire New York front will be compromised into only this road. They can only use one more road up to Konstantinivka, and then they will be able to cut the road and then attack from the south of Konstantinivka, while the other Russian forces are now maybe pondering if they should hit through Chasiv-Yar. Because if they conquer Chasiv-Yar now, it's a bit too early as well anyway. So, they may be looking at the developments around here as a possibility on the timing of their assault. So this is what I have been talking about. So this is the current situation. I shouldn't have been doing analysis here, in the SITREP, but no, I can't help it. It's like an addiction. So anyway, in the southern flank, we have the Russian forces attacking in the Umansky region and towards Kharkiv. So this is the situation around here. Geolocation of FPV drone strike, and there's a counter artillery strike. That's about it from this area. There's nothing at the Nevelsky region. Over in the Battle of Krasnohorivka, there's no news. Russian forces are simply attacking it. And over in this Novo-Mikhailivka region, you can see a lot of frontline changes around here. Russian forces is now piling on the Ukrainians here. After suddenly pausing, the fighting at the Siversk front, suddenly this becomes, the next major push. If you look from the Ukrainian perspective, it's getting very complicated because, you don't know where is the real push from the Russians, and the Russians just keep changing. Russians are attacking around Boyeda, Paraskoviyevka, towards Konstantinivka, south of Konstantinivka, and towards Vodian from Solot K direction. And so the Russians are basically attacking across the entire front around here, and the Ukrainians seems to be losing ground. And particularly, I wouldn't say this is pretty predictable, though. To be honest, the fighting around here, like I mentioned before, Paraskoviyevka is very, very hard to defend. It's a bit too small. So this is to lose Paraskoviyevka is pretty predictable. The advance in the Boyeda, south of Boyeda, is already reported long time ago. This is just a corroboration from the Ukrainian side. And the problem is this front. The direction, the fighting towards Vodian is starting to get a bit concerning for the Ukrainian side, because this advancement is pretty big. It's around 1.5 kilometers to 2 kilometers, which means that the Ukrainian forces around here has been the defense line has been broken. There is no more defense around here. The next defense line is probably this tree line. We have another few tree lines around here, and yeah, that's about it. The Russians are basically just gonna smash through all this, and we might have to expect some kind of a major Russian advancement down this direction, hitting this Ukrainian fortress. There is a possibility, and if this happens, this road will not be usable if the Russians manage to break through. And like I mentioned, this is a almost 2 kilometer push, so this is a lot of grounds being taken, and this is probably the easier path. If you look at the tree lines around here, some of these are just a lot, like this, okay, draw, this is this much, this one is a bit lesser, and then this one is just very, very little. So this is very little. There's a lot more here. So in terms of intensity, pushing through here is a bit harder. This is much more easier. And you go in the southern part, it's even worse. The entire area here is just full of tree lines, and which means that it's going to take forever to go through around here. So it makes sense that the Russians are pushing in this direction, north of this tree line. So yeah, this is some kind of a weak spot, and the Ukrainians know it, and that's why they have an entrenchment around here. So we will continue to monitor the situation here. And so some geolocation of FPV drone strike within Voleda, not important. The Russian forces are also allegedly attacking Zolota Neva. They are attacking Uruzhaine and Staromayoske and bombed Starozheve. Yeah, so that's the situation around at the Velika Novosilka sector. And we move away from the Donetsk Front into the Zaporizhzhia Front. Zaporizhzhia Front also activated, also. And it may not be as big, but it's very suspicious, very sus. North of Dobrozhhia, there is some airstrike being reported south of the Radisny. Not important. So over at this sector, Russian forces are attacking Mala Tomashka, they are attacking Robotine towards Novodanilivka, and they are attacking Mali Shubaki as well as Lukove. So this is quite a number of attacks, because in the previous day we only have one report around, I think, Robotine, if not Mala Tomashka. So Robotine was on the 2nd, and then Mala Tomashka was on the 3rd. Yes, correct. So there is some kind of activation of a more assault. Previously, I already mentioned before, when the Russians were attacking Novodanilivka and Novoandrievka, I was already a bit sus already about the situation around here. Feels like it was some kind of probing, and it could be a case where they are just preparing for a larger assault. So I'm not sure if this will develop further. And all in all, this, if you look at all the things that is happening around here, it does feel a lot like the Ukrainians claim that there is a summer offensive. If there is, this is the summer offensive already. Because the number of grounds lost, the number of assault across the various fronts is a lot. But again, this is still a whack-a-mole situation. It's not all the fronts activating at the same time. They are activating different fronts at different time, and this is going to give Ukrainians a lot of stress. So and because the Ukrainians have very limited trained troops, So over at the southern front, at the Kherson front, Russian forces are attacking Krinky. As per usual, the Ukrainians always say that the Russians are attacking Krinky for whatever reason, even if I'm not sure if it really is the case or not. So can't possibly that they take so long to clear Krinky. It's just impossible. But yeah. And there is a geolocation of airstrike on Novotyahinka. And that's about it, I believe, from the... Oh, there's one more. Across the sea, the sea river feeding thingy, there's a P-80 radar station hit at the Starobodanivka by Lancet. So this radar station might be just deployed not too long ago. So there is already previously a radar that was already hit at this point. So according to the geolocator. So anyway, it is what it is. So that's it. This is a situation report for the day of 832 for the 4th of June. Commander, do press the like button, subscribe, and of course, yeah, share if you feel that this is useful for anyone that is interested in the Ukraine war, especially if you are pro-Ukrainian. Because if you're pro-Ukrainian and you're watching this, do put a word out, put a kind word out for DPA, because DPA is very misunderstood. People keep thinking that I'm pro-Russian, but I'm not. I'm just not. I don't care. I don't care on both sides. And you can see a lot of my information is from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. I put a lot of weight on whatever the Ukrainian side say, just as much as the Russian side say. So and Deep State UA, however, don't put out this much report nowadays. They only put some frontline changes, and that's about it. So that's why it's a little bit heavy on the Rybar side if you talk about the open source. But otherwise, it is the geolocations are neutral. It's objective, and of course we have the Russian and Ukrainian Defense Ministry, and many of these reports are by the Ukrainians. So So the Ukrainian reports, as you can see, Ukrainian Defense Ministry report, it's a bit random nowadays. I think they still haven't get a flow that they like. I think after they change the format, they're still trying to get a sense of what's the best way to do their reporting. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm not going to talk too much about this since I want to record another one. The briefing, Ukraine briefing. Ukraine briefing will be on the main channel only, where I do a lot more speculations and a lot more summary of the situation rather than situation report is a military style report on the entire front line on everything that has happened. This is how we do it in the military. So this. I'm not sure if they still do it now, maybe it's walk now, everything is just, rainbows and unicorns. I don't know. I mean, during my days, that's how we do it. So, yeah. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next update.